What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I present you a very special video. I have a video book of the Straw Hat Pirates in minifigure form. Let's get into it. Now let's turn the page to see what we get. The first minifigure we have is the musician, Brook, holding his guitar and has his sword weapon. Let's turn the page to see the minifigure. As you can tell, this minifigure comes in this little plastic package. I'm going to carefully rip it open so I don't lose or break anything by accident. And there we go. I'm going to try opening the package a little bit more, but it looks like it wouldn't budge. So I'm just going to carefully drop everything out, like so. Once I do that, I'm going to make sure I didn't forget anything inside the bag. Then I'm going to throw away the bag. And there we have it. Now let's look at each component. The first one we have is the black display base, in which we can use to display this minifigure however we want. We'll show that later in the video. But here it is, a little 360 view on that. Next we have is the minifigure itself, or himself. You can see that this minifigure has two different facial expressions on it, which we could change just like this by rotating the head. The rotation of the head is pretty smoothly, nothing gets in the way. And you can see that the legs and waist move and function as normal. You can also change the head's facial expressions by just removing the head and putting it on there like that. But I feel like rotating is a lot easier. And there we go, that's the minifigure. Next we have is his hat and hair. And here, for me, this is one of my favorite components out of this whole minifigure. It's my second favorite. The first one will be the scarf, we'll show that next, but you can see all the crazy detail it has to it, the hair, the crown, and all of it. Next we have his guitar, his little shark guitar, which I find pretty nice and funny. Now let's play the guitar like it's Brook. Yo ho ho ho, yo ho ho ho. And there we have it. The next component we have is his scarf, which is now my favorite part of this whole minifigure. I feel like they put a lot of attention and details to the scarf, as you can see right here. All the small details to make it look like a scarf, or one of those party scarves. It's really nice. Next we have is his sword. You can see me here moving it around, practicing my skills. But here it is, the little cane, looks really nice. And all that. Then we have the prop that goes on top of the sword. I believe this is supposed to resemble his ice powers or chill powers that go on his sword. You can see me pointing to the hole that slides down on the sword. Next component we have is his two arms. And then we have his two hands that we all know, or three hands that we all know that minifigure can only hold two hands. And they give you one extra just in case. Now, after reviewing each component, let's start building the minifigure. For me, I start off by installing the hands. You can see that all you gotta do is line them up properly and it pops into place super simple. Looks like I didn't do it the first time correctly, so I'm going to do it again one more time. And there we go. Pops in, going to do a little test, make sure it's on there nice and secure. And there we have it. There's one. Now let's do the other side. And there we have it. They both move, they're both on there nice and tightly. Now let's install the hands. We're going to just repeat the process, line them up onto the minifigure like so. Or line up the post and hole and push in. And there we have it. We're going to rotate them, make sure they're on nice and securely, which it is. After doing that, I'm going to test the other side, or the other hand. And there we go. All we got to do is carefully line up like that and push it in. And it clicks into place pretty smoothly. Make sure let's do a rotation test, make sure it's on there nice and secure, which it is. The next component we have is the scarf. And when I was installing the scarf, I found out something really interesting, that they made little cutouts for his hands and like the neck part of the minifigure, and it lines up perfectly, as you can see right here. You can see that the attention to detail with this minifigure is amazing. Now let's attach the head. All you gotta do is just line them up with the post and push down. And the scarf does not get in the way of the head's rotation, as you can see right here. So it's still free spinning. And there we go. Now let's attach the hair. But before we do that, I want to pick a facial expression that we could use for this minifigure. So I did a little test to see which one looks. And my favorite facial expression is this one. I feel like it captures Brook 100%. I know in the show he's a little serious and funny, but he also cries a lot. So I feel like this captures him really nicely. Let's fix it, making sure it's on there perfectly straight. And here it is. Now let's do like a little test to see how it looks on the black display base. And here we are. Now let's change the facial expression to see how it looks like with this on. You can see this one's a little bit more serious, which I'm going to keep throughout the video. So I feel like having a serious version of Brook is a lot better than having a crying version. But here it is. Now after installing the minifigure, let's build his weapon. As you can see that there's only 2 components. All you gotta do is just line them up like this. And there we go. Once I do that, I'm just going to push down and it's on there nice and securely. And as you could tell, you can switch the way this little icicles move or face. And there we have it. It slides in pretty simple and you can be popped out pretty simple. And there we go. And there we have it. Now let's attach it to the minifigure. Let's move the arm up to make him hold it. You can see that the scarf does stop the motion of the arm a little bit, but that won't get in the way that much. Now let's attach it to the minifigure. And there we have it. You can see that it just pops into place. Or I'm going to try installing it. You can see that the sword just pops into place super simple. And there we have it. Making sure it's nice and on there securely, making sure it looks nice and presentable so we can display it properly. And there we have it. Now let's let him hold the guitar. For me, I had a little trouble placing the guitar. I didn't know how to display it onto the minifigure. You can see me trying to figure that out right now. But you can see that it just clicks into his hand like that. You gotta put it in a little bit on an angle and rotate it. And there we go. We have it on a somewhat angle, but I'm going to try changing the head or make it look like he's actually playing the guitar. So I'm going to change the facial expression to him crying or screaming and make him look like he's actually playing the guitar. And there we go. I only got the one arm to make it look like he is. The other arm wouldn't really go on top of it, but here it is. Let's see how it looks on the black display base. And here it is. You can't tell me this does not look cool. Him playing the guitar in the minifigure form. Now let's move the other arm up to display the sword. You guys know me that I want to have every component that this minifigure has all in one. I don't want to leave any component off the minifigure. So here it is. And here we are. Let's make it look a little bit more presentable. And there we have it. Let's change the facial expression to make him be all serious, holding the weapon and a guitar. And there we have it. Let's fix the head. Looks like it wasn't straight beforehand. And there we have it. Now let's attach it to the black display base and see how it looks. And here we have it, the full assembly of custom one-piece minifigure Brook, the musician of the Straw Hat Pirates. Let's do a little 360 view of the minifigure. And there we go. Look at it from the sides. Now let's turn the page to check the other members of the Straw Hat Pirates. Now we have Jinbe, the helmsman of the group. You can see that he has a little bit of a white world to resemble his powers. Now let's look at the minifigure. Turn the page. And as you can see, this minifigure comes in this little plastic package, like Brook did. I'm going to open this minifigure, I'll open the packaging a little bit differently, because this minifigure does not have that many small components. So I'm going to open it a little bit more roughly and drop everything out. And there we go. Going to make sure I didn't forget anything inside the bag. Then I'm going to throw away the bag. And there we have it. Now let's see all the minifigures we get. All the components we get. Right at the bat, you see that we get a black display base. in which we can use to display his minifigure, like you guys all know. Look at it from different angles. And there we have it. Next we have is his legs. You can see that the legs move and function as normal, and so does the waist. There we have it. Looks like my glove got stuck to it. Then we have his 3 arms, or his 3 hands. They give you one extra just in case, which is really nice. Here they are. Next we have his little cape / jacket that could go around him. Here it is. Then we have the minifigure himself. This minifigure does not have that much going to it, but it's pretty nice. A little bulky minifigure. You can see that on the black outline, there's little holes that line up with the jacket. We'll show that later. Then we have his 2 sleeves / arms that can be attached to the body. Then we have his sandals. Here they are, 2 of them. They don't give you one extra of these, but 2 is enough for us, so we're good with that. Then we have the water whirl that he can hold. I'm going to try doing it. Here it is. Yeah, and there we go. Let me put it back into frame because I kind of threw it. But after reviewing each component, let's start building the minifigure. For me, I start off with the legs. You can see that there's a little cutout for the legs, and it just lines up pretty smoothly. All you gotta do is push it in. It's a little bit rough, but it lines up properly. And you can see that the legs motions, or the movement of the legs, does not stop it, or his clothing does not stop the motion of the legs, but it is kind of stuck on there, so just be aware of that. But here it is. Next, I'm going to install the hands, or the arms of the minifigure. And there we go, super simple, making sure it's on there nice and securely. The head does not rotate, I just tried. But now let's do the other side, and there we go. Now let's install the hands, I believe. Yes, we'll install the hands. All you gotta do is just line them up with the holes of his arms. And there we go. Just pops into place, super simple. And there we have it. I did one side, now let's do the other side. Installing this was pretty simple. Just line them up and push in. And there we go, pops into place. Making sure it's on there securely by just rotating it. And there we have it. Now after doing that, I'm going to take the little jacket and attach it to the minifigure. As you can see, there's little 2 posts on the tips of it that line up with the holes right there. And it clicks into place just like this. All we gotta do is line them up, and there we have it. And here it is. It's easily removed just like that. A little close up of the holes on the black part of the sleeves. All I gotta do is line up these 2 pieces like that, which I'm pointing to right now. And there we go. Gotta carefully line up, and there we have it. Took a little while to push it down, but we got there on there, and it's there securely. It's on there nice securely. And you can see that the jacket does stop the arms motions a little bit. That's fine, because we don't really need it to go up that much. Now let's install a little water whirl, his powers. And it did give me a little bit of trouble, but after carefully looking at it, it just slides into place pretty simple. Or it slides onto his arms pretty simple. There we go. Let's rotate it, make it look a little bit more presentable. And there we have it. I'm going to try removing the legs, because I'm curious to see if you can remove the legs after installing it. You can see me trying wiggling it, and the legs are on there so tightly that the bottom part of this minifigure came off. But yeah, this is a little bit more of an example to see how the minifigure looks. I didn't know this could happen, so I'm glad it did. I didn't know that it would, so now we know that happens. Now let's assemble the minifigure back and attach it to the black display base. to see how it looks. And here we go. What I found out really interesting is that you can have the sandals on this minifigure and on the black display base at the same time. So I decided to display this minifigure first on the black display base to see how it looks. And then let's install the little sandals that slide into his legs, or the bottom part of his feet. Going carefully to find out which side goes where. And there we go. There's one. Now let's do the other side. Repeat the process, and there we go. And there we have it. In my opinion, I didn't keep them on there, but for the same purpose, they do not fit on the black display base, and this minifigure cannot stand without the black display base. You can see me trying, it keeps falling over. So the black display base is a must if you want to display this minifigure standing up. There's too much weight with the coat hanging from the back of it. But here's a little 360 view of the minifigure, and there we have it. Now let's turn the page to see the other member of the Straw Hat Pirates. Now we have Nico Robin, the archaeologist of the group. You can see that Nico Robin has her devil fruit powers, which is resembling in this minifigure. Now let's turn the page to start looking at the minifigure. As you can tell, this minifigure comes in this plastic package, which they all do, which is, in my opinion, really nice. You can see every component of this minifigure. I'm opening this packaging super carefully because this minifigure has a lot of components I did not feel like losing. So after that, I'm going to make sure I didn't forget anything inside the bag. Bring everything close so we can see each component. Now let's review each component. Right off the bat, we get the black display base, which can hold up Robin standing up without it falling over. Next we have is her crazy detail of the hair. You can see all the strands of it, which is really nice. We got her two little bangs. I'm assuming that's what they are. We have our skirt that slides onto the torso legs pretty nicely. We'll show that a little bit later. Here's all the angles of it. Then we have the minifigure herself. A little 360 view of it. You can see that the head rotates as normal, and the legs and waist move and function as normal, as other minifigures do. Like Brook, but not as Jinbe, because Jinbe doesn't have a rotating head. Now let's check out her arms and hands. For this minifigure, it has two different arms and hands. As you can see, we have the regular hands that slide into the arms. We have 3 of them. Then we have the regular arms, and here they are. And then we have her devil fruit power arms, which have her doing her little pattern or her signature style, and her little side arms that go to the side that spread out. You can see they attach to each other like this, the little post and hole. We'll show them all together a little bit later in the video when we're showing how to display this onto the minifigure. But for now, I'm just going to install the normal arms and hands first to see how it looks. And just like that, all I gotta do is line them up and push it in. Pretty normal, like the other minifigures. Now I'm going to repeat the process, do it on the other side, and there we have it. Then I'm going to remove the legs from the body and then attach her skirt. I'm going to carefully line them up, make sure we're facing it the right way, which we are. And there we go. I didn't really show it, but the skirt has a little outline for the body and torso, which goes in pretty sweetly. You can see that the skirt, the stop leg motion of the legs, so keep that in mind. Now let's attach the 2 hands. You can see that the hands just pop into place super simple. We're going to make sure they're on there nice and secure by rotating it, which they are. And there we have it. Moving it up and down, twisting it, making sure it's on there. Now after doing that, I'm going to attach the hair. And the hair just slides onto the head, pretty simple. And there we have it. Nico Robin, little 360 view of the minifigure. Now let's attach it to the black display base to see how it looks with the regular arms. And here we have it, the full assembly of custom Nico Robin minifigure from One Piece with the regular arms. Let's do a little 360 view of it. In my opinion, I'm not a big fan of it. I feel like it gives this minifigure a little bit of a boring look to it. So I'm going to remove all the components of this minifigure so we can install the devil fruit powers of her arms. I'm going to carefully remove the hair from the head so I don't break it by accident. Remove the head and the legs and skirt. I'm doing this so we could install the hands without the chance of them breaking. So I'm going to remove these two arms, just like so. They come out pretty simple. Nothing broke, thank goodness. But the way to install these hands is pretty much the same way as the regular ones. Just line them up and push them in. There we go. You can see that they rotate as regularly, which is pretty nice. Gonna carefully line them up to the body, making sure they're nice and flush, or this won't work, or the posts won't perfectly line up with the holes on the other set of arms. I'm going to repeat the process, making sure it's on there nice and securely, which it is. Doing a rotation test, and there we have it. After making sure they're on there flush with the body, I'm going to take the other hands, or the other set of the arms, and line them up. And I did this to see if it fits like this, which it didn't. There's only one way to install this, and it's like this. But here it is. All I gotta do is line them up and push in. And there we have it. Here's the Nico Robin using her devil fruit powers. You can see that the leg of the arms do not move up and down, so it's stuck in this position. For me, I didn't really mind because I'm not really going to move the arms that much. But now let's finish by installing this minifigure back to all the heads and legs. You can see that the head just plops into place pretty simple, or fits in on the post pretty simple. Then the hair, you can see that the bangs, the front part of the hair, does not get in the way of the arms. So there we go. And there we have it, looking at it from different angles, making sure it's on there nice and secure. Nothing's getting in the way. And the rotation of the hair and head does not stop the arms or get in the way, so that's really nice. Now let's attach the skirt back to the legs, making sure I put it on correctly. There we go. Taking the minifigure and placing it back. And there we have it. Now let's attach it to the black display base to see how it looks. But before we do that, let's do a little 360 view of it, of course, without the black display base. Now let's attach it to the black display base to see how it looks. And here we have the full assembly of Nico Robin doing her little devil fruit power pose. In my opinion, I'm a big fan of this minifigure, this style, so I'm going to keep it like this. And there we have it. At the bottom view and the top view, now let's put that off to the side. Change the page to the next crew member. Now we have Tony Chopper, the ship's doctor, holding his little brown stick with two different facial expressions. Let's change the page. Let's see the minifigure. As you can tell, this minifigure comes in this little plastic package, which I'm going to be opening super carefully because he does come with a lot of small components. So I didn't want to lose anything by accident because he is my favorite character of all One Piece, is Chopper. So before I do that or install the minifigure, I'll make sure I didn't forget anything inside the bag, and which I didn't. Now I'm going to review each component. And right off the bat, we get a black display base. We have the minifigure himself. You can see it has two different facial expressions, and in which we could change it like this by just rotating it, or by just removing the head and changing it. As you can tell, it has one with like this little star eyes and one regular. Then we have the legs that do not move. They're kind of stuck like little child legs. And you can see that the legs can be removed pretty simply, like that. And there we have it. Next component we have is a little book bag that can be attached to the minifigure. A little 360 view on that. Then we have the hat with the two holes on the side that go onto his little antlers. There we go. Then we have his three arms. Looks like I lost the other one. Oh no, there it is, hiding behind the hat. And there's the three arms for the minifigure. Here we are. Basic arms or basic hands. Now we have the arms. with a little bit of a fur detail to it, which is really nice. As you can see right here, the little fur patterns. Then we have the 2 antlers that can attach to the hat on the sides of the hat with these little 2 posts. We have 1 big and 1 small so you don't mix it up. And there we go. You can see one of the antlers have the little white bow around it or strap around it. And then we have the little brown stick that he can hold. Now after reviewing each component, let's start building the minifigure. I started off by building his hat with the antlers. You can see that they line up pretty simple. Looks like it has this side. You can see it has 2 different holes, 1 big and 1 small. And these 2 pieces installed pretty simple. There's one side. Now let's do the other side. And there we go. This side is again pretty simple. Gave me no trouble, which is really nice. Was a little 360 view of the hat. And there we go. Now let's install them or build a minifigure. For me, I decided to start off with a book bag. So I remove the head, install the book bag like that. And then I'll put the head back on. And there we have it. Pops into place super simple. And you can see that the bag does not stop the head from moving. And it fits perfectly. Nothing's hanging on top of it or on an angle, so it's pretty nice. Then I'm going to install the arms. They just pop into place super simple. All I got to do is line them up. And there we have it. Looks like I didn't do it properly the first time. Then I got it on there, making sure it's on there nice and securely by just moving it up and down. And there we have it. Then I'm going to repeat the process and do the other side. And there we have it. Then I'm going to install his hands next. They just pop into place super simple, just like the arms. Line up carefully, and boom. Rotating it on there, making sure it's on there nice and securely, which it is. Now I'm going to repeat the process. Same old, same old. Line them up and push it in. And there we go. After pushing it in, I'm going to do a little test like I did before by just rotating it, making sure it's on there nice and securely, which it is. Now I'm going to attach the hat, will be the next component we put on. But before I do that, I want to see which facial expression is the best. For me, I had a hard time doing it. You'll see me changing it quite a bit. Because, like I said before, he's my favorite character. So I want to display this minifigure perfectly. But for now, I decided to just do this one, the normal look. But before I put on the hat, I want to attach his little brown stick. This little brown stick can be attached 2 different ways. One way is this way by just popping into place. And the second way by just sliding it in. And there we go. Now let's attach the hat. And here it is. This is how it looks with the normal face. And now let's do the other side with the sparkling eyes. And I had a really hard time picking which one because they both suit him perfectly. But for now, I decided to just choose this one or display this one first to see how it looks. And there we have it. And you can see that the hat does rotate with the head, so it doesn't really get stuck, so you can change it like that. But like I said before, both facial expressions suit Chopper really nicely, so I had a hard time picking it. But for now, I picked this one, and this is how it looks on the black display base. And here it is. A little 360 view of the minifigure. The sides, the back, the other side, and the front. Now let's change the expression to see how it looks on the black display base. And there we have it. And this is how it looks with the other facial expression. I feel like this one's the best. I feel like it captures the basics of Tony Chopper really nicely. But there we go. Now let's change the page to the other crew member of the Straw Hat Pirates, the cook, Sanji Vinsmoke. As you can see, Sanji has his signature cigar and flames that on his foot or his leg to resemble his powers in the show. Now let's change the page to see this minifigure. As you can tell, this minifigure comes in this little plastic package. I'm going to carefully rip it open because there's 2 very small components that can be lost very simple. So I'm going to carefully drop everything out. Not very simple, but very fast. And you can see one of the small components being stuck in the bag, but I carefully removed it. Now I'm going to make sure I didn't forget anything else in the bag. Then I'm going to throw away the bag. Now let's review each component. Right off the bat, you can see that we get the hair with a crazy detail with it, with a little heart eye on it to resemble him simping over a girl. There we have it. Well, 360 view on that. Then we have the minifigure itself, and here we go. There's a little 360 view of it. There we go. Let's make it a little bit more focused, and there we have it. Another 360 view of the minifigure. As you can see, the head rotates and the legs move and function as normal, like other minifigures do. After that, then we have the cigar that he can hold. You can see that the cigar has a two-piece built to it, and they're both very small pieces. So I carefully took my time by installing this because I didn't want to break anything by accident. And there we go. All you gotta do is line them up and push in, and there we have it. And here it is. Now let's put that off to the side to assemble the rest of the, or check out the other components. And you can see that this minifigure comes with this black display base, in which we can use to display his minifigure. We'll show that later. Then we have the fire prop that attaches to his leg. You can see that it's a nice clear red or pink. It's a really nice color. It matches the cigar butt itself. And here it is. Then we have his two arms that have the white, a yellow part of his t-shirt at the sleeves. There we go. Then we have three hands. As we all know, the minifigure can only hold up to two hands. And they give you one extra just in case anything happens to one of them. Now let's start building the minifigure. As you can see, that I'm going to start with the arms. I'm going to carefully line everything up and push into place. It goes in pretty simple. There's one. Now I'm going to do the other side. And there we go. I'm going to rotate both of them to make sure they're on there nice and secure, which I did. Now I'm going to put on the hands. And there we go. There's one. Now let's do the other side. And there's two. They pop into place super simple. Then I'm going to install the hair with the hard eyes. I'm going to carefully line up the heart that's attached to his hair with the eyes on the head. And there we go, to make it look all perfectly straight. And there we go. Then I'm going to attach the cigar. You can have him hold the cigar multiple ways. You can have him hold it like this. And the other way you can have him hold it is like that, by just holding it in between the arms facing you. I feel like, in my opinion, this looks better of him smoking it. But now let's attach the little fire prop to his leg. You can see that it lines up and slides in pretty smoothly like that. And there we have it. Check out this minifigure from different angles. There's the bottom, the sides, the back, and the other side. Now let's attach it to the black display base to see how it looks. And there we have it. And here's a full assembly and custom build with Sanji Vinsmoke holding a lighter with his crazy heart eyes. There we go, a little 360 view of it. Now let's change the page, or flip the page to the next crew member. And that will be Usopp. As you can see, Usopp has his slingshot that he can hold with his hand, and it has a little bullet or a little green propeller to look like he's actually shooting something with it. Now let's change the page, or turn the page to see us assembling this minifigure. This minifigure does not come with a lot of small components, so I'm going to open the packaging a little bit differently, but I'm still going to make sure I didn't forget anything inside the bag. Then I'm going to throw away the bag. Now let's check out each component. You can see that we have his bag right away. You can see that we can attach it to the minifigure. We'll show that later in the video. Then we have the minifigure himself. There we go. Then we have the black display base, in which we could use to display his minifigure when it's all done and built. Then we have three hands. We all know that two hands can be fit on the minifigure only, and they give you one extra just in case. It looks like one flew away, so I'm bringing that back. And there we go. Next component we have is his two arms. You can see that one of his arms has his blue and white wristband that he has in the shell. There it is. Then we have the green slingshot itself, and the little part that he's shooting from it. It's a two-part build. Now I'll start building the minifigure. So I'm going to rotate the head, make sure I can remove it easily. But before I do that, I forgot to show you his hair, the hat, and his nose component, and here it is. Now let's rip off the head to attach the bag. As you can see, the bag just slides into place pretty simple. Gotta move it over to attach the head, and there we go. This is how it looks. I got curious to see how it looks flipped over on the other side, So I removed the head to attach the bag on this side. And then I'm going to attach the head to see how it looks. And there we go. In my opinion, I feel like the bag looks better on the other side. So I'm going to change it real quick. But first I'm going to look at it from different sides to make sure it looks somewhat decent, which it didn't. So I'm going to change it back. And there we go. I feel like it looks better on this side. And it matches, I guess, the bag's bottom part with the leg. It lines up completely flush. And there we go. The next component I'm going to install are his arms. Looking for their arm for the right side. So I'm going to carefully line it up and push in. You can see that it pops into place super simple. Now I'm going to do the other side. Repeat the process, and there we go. I'm going to move it up and down, make sure it's on there nice and securely, which it is. Now I'm going to repeat that process with the hands. Line it up, and push it in, and there we go. There's one. Moving it up and down, make sure it's on there nice and secure. Now I'm going to do the other side. And there we go. Rotating it, making sure it's on there nice and secure. And there we have it. Now I'm going to install the top part of his head, the nose, the glasses, and the hat. You can see that it lines up perfectly with it. And there we go, slides in pretty smoothly. And there we go. You can see that it has his long nose and his bushy hair, which is really nice. I find this really funny. Now let's attach it to the black display base to see how it looks without a slingshot. And there we go, a little 360 view of it. And there we have it. Now let's start building the slingshot component. I started off by installing these two pieces together. And this is how it looks like on one side. And I got curious to see if this is a one side build or one side's fit, which it wasn't. I was wrong. No, I wasn't wrong, I was curious. So there's one side. So I did that side. Now I'm going to change it to the other side to see if it fits. And it does. So I decided to just leave it at that. And there we go. Then I'm going to attach it to the slingshot like that. Just line up the post and the hole. And it slides in pretty simple. And there we have it. I'm going to push it on there so make sure it's on there nice and secure. Now let's attach it to the minifigure build. But first, let's look at it from 360 view of it. And there we have it. Now let's attach it to the minifigure. And there we go. And here's the full assembly of custom one-piece minifigure Usopp, holding his slingshot. Let's do a little 360 view of it. But here's the top view, the bottom view, the front, the side, the back, and the other side. And there we have it. Now let's flip the page or turn the page to see the next crew member. And the next crew member we have is Nami. You can see that she has her two different facial expressions and her holding her climb attack powers. You can see there's two of them. But now let's turn the page and start building the minifigure. As you can tell, it comes in this little plastic packet that opens up pretty simple. This minifigure does not come with a lot, so I'm opening it a little bit differently than everything else. There we go. I'm going to carefully look at the bag, make sure I didn't forget anything inside the bag. Then I'm going to throw away the bag. Now I'll see the minifigure itself, or look at all the components. Right off the bat, we get the minifigure with two different facial expressions on it. You can change the facial expressions just by rotating the head. There's the money eyes, and there's a regular facial expression. Then we can see that the legs and waist move and function as normal, just like the head. There we go. Next component we have is the black display base, in which we can display this minifigure however we want. There we go. Then we have her hair with a crazy amount of detail to it. It's like Robin's hair with the crazy hair strings flowing down. There we go. Then we have her two arms, or her two hands. There we go. Then we get her two arms. You can see that one of the arms have her tattoo and all the stuff she wears on her wrist. So they gave this minifigure all the detail it deserves to resemble Nami in one show. Then we have two props for her climb attack powers. We have one lightning and one I'm assuming is a cloud. It's nice translucent colors. Then we got the two sticks for the powers. that get attached to it. And there it is. Now, after reviewing each component, let's start building the minifigure. For me, I start off by attaching her powers on the sticks. You can see that they just pop into place super simple. There's one. Look at it from different angles, making sure it's on there nice and secure, which it is. Now let's do the other side, or the other one. You can see that it attaches the same way. We gotta line it up and push in, and there we go. I got curious to see if it fits on both sides, so I removed it and flipped over the stick to see if it fits, which it does. And there we go. And here are her two climb attack powers. Now let's start building the minifigure. I start off by attaching the two arms. You see, like the all other minifigures, they pop into place super simple. All I gotta do is line it up and push in. I moved it up and down to make sure it's on there nice and securely, which it is. Now I'm going to repeat the process on this side. And there we have it. Then I'm going to attach the hands. You can see the hands just pop in super simple. There we go. I'm going to rotate them and making sure it's on there nice and secure, which it is. And there we have it. Then I'm going to repeat the process one more time. And there we have it. The arms attached, the hands attached to the arms pretty easily, gave me no trouble. So there we go. Next component I'm going to install is her hair. When I'm installing the hair, before I push down, I'm going to see which facial expression looks the best. That's her normal one. I'm going to check the other side. There we go. Then I'm going to check again with the other facial expression. I went with this one. I feel like this one captures Nami a little bit better once you're using her powers. And there we go. You can see that the hair just slides onto the face. Pretty simple. And it can be removed pretty easily. And there we go. Now I'll let her hold her powers or her sticks. And there we go. You can see they just pop into place. Super simple. And then you can rotate them with her hand pretty easily. There's one. Now let's let her hold it from a different angle, a different side. Now let's let her hold the other stick. There we go. And here we have it. You can see that you can position it like this, or like her holding like a staff. For me, I let her hold both of them. I feel like it gives Nami a little bit more power when she's holding both of them. And there we have it. Now it's attached to the black display base. See how it looks. And there we have it. Let's do a little 360 view of it. There's the front, the sides, the back, and the other side. And here it is. I forgot to show how the minifigure looks with the other facial expression on it, with all the powers on her. So I changed the facial expression to see how it looks. And there we have it. Then I figured out something really interesting. What I found out is that you could take both of these climb tack sticks and stack them on top of each other. I'll show that out right now. You can see that you can just line them up like this and form one really long one. And this is how I display mine. Have them both display like this. I feel like it shows the climb attack powers pretty simple or pretty nice. And then I got curious to see if you could attach these two pieces together like this. And unfortunately, you cannot. They only attach to the blue sticks. So I attached the blue stick back to the lightning part. Then I attached the cloud back to the stick. Like so. And I let Nami hold it like this. It looks a bit funny at first, but after playing around with it and having it displayed for a little bit, I kind of got used to it. It looks pretty nice. I feel like the money eyes or his facial expression kind of suits her, having all these a longer climb attack power stick. So there we go. And here it is. You can see that you can still pop it off and attach it the other way, the way we had it before, her holding it two different ways. But for me, I displayed it with one super long stick. Now let's change the page to attach or see the other minifigure. You can see now the other minifigure we have is Roronoa Zoro, the captain's second hand. Now let's change the page to see this minifigure. As you can tell, it comes in this little plastic package with a lot of components, so I'm going to carefully rip open the packaging and drop everything out. And there we have it. Go make sure I didn't forget anything inside the bag, then I'm going to throw away the bag. Now let's look over each component. Right off the bat, we get the black display base, in which we could display this minifigure on when we're done building it. And here it is. Next component we have is this jacket, the little part of his jacket with the little post to hold the swords and the little sides to hold the torso, I guess, of the minifigure. Then we have his 3 swords. Here they are. That he can hold, one on his mouth and 2 on his hands. Here they are. Here they are. Then we have each scabbard of the sword that could attach to the side of the jacket. We'll show that later in the video. Then we have his 2 arms. Here they are, with a nice little detail to it. The musculars, with all his muscles. Then we have the 3 hands. They give you 1 extra just in case. Or to hold each sword, because he has 3 swords, 3 hands, 3 sword style. Ha ha ha. Next component we have is this little clear part that the sword could hold attached to look like he's holding it with his mouth. It slides in between the head and torso. We'll show that later in the video. But only this sword could hold it because you can see that it has little holes onto it that attach to the post. The other 2 swords do not have it, so this is the main one that he could hold with his mouth. You can see me looking at this one. See, it does not have the holes. And there's the other one. So only the one with the white handle can do it. So let's bring that white sword back together, or back into frame. Next component we have are his 3, I guess, purple energy things that attach to the sword. My apologies, I forgot the terminology of this. But you can see there's outlines on the holes of this little powers. They slide onto the sword, pretty simple. And there we have it. We'll show that later. Then we have the crazy green hair with all the small details to it. And there we go. Little 360 view on that. And then we have the minifigure himself. You can see that this minifigure has 2 different facial expressions. Has him one screaming. I like this one. It's my favorite one. And then we have the other one, him grinning. You can change it by turning it like that or just picking off the head and putting it back on. And there we go. And you can see that the legs and waist move and function as normal. And there we have it. Now I'll start building the minifigure after reviewing each component. For me, I started off the same way. I install the arms. You can see they pop into place really simple. Unfortunately, this Zoro does not come with ball joints as arms. It comes as normal one motion. So we have to deal with that. I wish it came with ball joints, but it didn't. But you can see that the arms move and function as normal, and they're on there nice and securely, which is really nice. Now let's do the hands. I'm going to repeat the process, pop them into place, and there we go. Slides in pretty nicely, and it's on there securely. And there we have it. There's one. Now let's do the other side. And there's 2. Line them up and push it in. And there's 2. Gonna rotate them, make sure it's nice and securely on there, which it is. Next component I'm going to install is his jacket that slides in between his legs and torso. And there we go. There it is. Looking at it from the side, you can see that the torso has little side parts of it that lines up with the torso that keeps it into place. Super nice. And there we have it. Now let's attach the hair. And there we have it. The hair just slides in pretty simply, and you can change the hair or turn the hair by turning it with the other facial expressions. I took it off, but this is how it looks like with the other facial expression on it. Now let's attach the scabbards of the swords. All you gotta do is line the post up with the hole, and there we go. Slides in pretty smoothly. And there we have it. Now let's attach it to the black display base to see how it looks without the swords. And here we go. Let's do a little 360 view of it. Let's bring this arm down. You see that the swords give it the arm a little stop, pushing it down. That's the lowest it could go, but that's fine. Looks pretty nice. Now let's take off the head to start building the swords, or change the expression before putting on the swords. And here we go. We have Zoro yelling. That's pretty nice. A little 360 view of it. And there we go. Now let's start building the swords. So right off the bat, I took the swords and attached this purple energy things to it. I forgot the name of it, my apologies, but you can see that the purple energy component has a little cutout of the sword. All you gotta do is line it up and push it in. And there we go, it slides in pretty nice. It clicks into place pretty swiftly. Or pretty smoothly. And I tried turning it around to see if it fits, which it does not. So there we go. There's only one way to put it in, and that's how you do it. So I did one side, now I'm going to do the other two. I'm going to repeat the process, line them up and push it in. And there we go. There's the second one. Then the third one. And there we have it. You're going to line it up, find the right direction, and push down. And there we have it. And here are all three swords with the purple energy ring around it. Now I'm going to remove the head to attach the little clear part to make him look like he's holding the sword with his mouth. Looks like the legs came off, so I decided to just leave the legs off for now. So I'm going to grab this clear component and attach it to the, put it onto the post where the head sits. But first I decided to just attach it to the head. You can see that the neck part of the head and the post, or this clear part, line up perfectly. I'm going to push down on it, and now it sits onto the head. Then I'm going to put the head back onto the post and slide it down, and there we have it. Once I put everything down, I'm going to position everything back to the way it was. But before I do that, I'm going to attach the legs back to the minifigure, or I thought I was. I'm going to take the sword and attach it to the minifigure. I'm going to first find the right angle on it so I don't attach it on backwards. And there we go. So I'm going to carefully place it onto the post on the clear component, onto the sword. And there we go. It just slides into place. Pretty simple. And there we go. Looks like the clear component still rotates, so I'm going to push down the head, making sure it's on there nice and secure. Now I'm going to attach the hair and the legs back to the minifigure. We'll move the arm up because it keeps touching the scabbards. And there we have it. Now I'm going to take this sword, the other sword, and attach it to the hand. There's one. Now I'm going to repeat the process on the other side. And there we have it. It looks like the sword got in the way of the scabbards and it came off, so I'm going to put on the sword without the legs, make it position it properly. Now attach everything back. I'm going to take the legs and the jacket, put them back together like so. And I forgot to show you before, but the jacket does stop the legs from moving a little bit. Has a little small range of motion, which is fine for me because I'm not really moving the legs that much. But I'm going to attach everything back and see how it looks. And there we have it. Let's do a little 360 view of it. Now let's attach it to the black display base to see how it looks. And there we have it. Here's the complete assembled build of custom one-piece minifigure Roronoa Zoro with the three swords. I'm going to change the facial expression to see how it looks. You can see that this little clear part does not stop the rotation of the head. So I'm going to do that real quick. And I thought I would like the other facial expression on this minifigure, but this one seems a little bit more suited for this part of Zoro holding the three swords. I decided to turn it back to see how it looks. And I decided to just leave it because it looks funny. And I thought to have a funny minifigure instead of a serious one. And there we go. You can see that I'm going to try positioning the swords. You can see that you could change the hand rotations with the swords to see it, or to make him look like he's actually doing something. And there we go. Playing around with it to make it look a little bit more presentable. And here we are. I'm going to attach the jacket back onto the minifigure. It keeps falling off. And put it back together. And there we have it. Let's fix everything, making sure it looks presentable. And there we have it. The full assembly of Roronoa Zoro. Let's do a little 360 view of it. The sides, the back, the front, the other side. And there we have it. Now let's change the page to the last minifigure. The last minifigure, we have the captain himself, Monkey D. Luffy, doing his second gear and third gear. Now let's change the page to see the minifigure. As you can tell, there's a lot of components in this little bag. I'm going to carefully open it up and drop everything out. And here we are. Going to make sure I didn't forget anything inside the bag. Then I'm going to throw away the bag. Now let's check out each component. Right off the bat, we get the black display base, in which we could use to display this minifigure however we want. Here it is, a little 360 view of it. Then we get the hat and the hair. You can see that all those small details that the straw hat has and his hair. Then we have the big fist that represents gear 2, or I believe gear 3. And here it is. You can see that this is a 2-part build, and you can just attach them by putting them together. We'll show that later in the video. Then we have 3 steam components that resembles the gear 2. We have one that attaches on the big fist. Then we have 2 small ones that attach between the arm and hand. Then we have the minifigure himself. You can see that it has 2 different facial expressions on it. You can see that you can change the facial expressions just by turning the head. And you can see that the legs and waist move and function as normal. Then we have his 2 arms. Here they are. Then we have 3 regular hands. As we all know, minifigures can only hold up to 2 hands, and they give you 1 extra just in case, or 2 extra, I believe, because they give you 1 gigantic fist. But anyways, after reviewing each component, let's start building the minifigure. For now, I just started off by choosing this plain facial expression. And the first component I'm going to install are his regular arms. There's 1. I'm going to repeat the other and do the other side, and there we go. Next, I'm going to attach the steam components that go between the arm and hand. For me, I had a little trouble installing this little component, because you'll see right now that the hands did not really slide in between or on top of the arm and sand piece or steam piece. Like the other ones you saw that I clicked in, this one did not. I thought it was just this hand, so I decided to just leave it alone and go to the next one. But then I realized that the next one I had the same problem. This time I tried assembling it differently. I tried putting it like this. As you can see here, it kind of sits into place, and I took the hand and put it into place, and unfortunately it did not go in as well or as easier as I thought. You can see me pushing in really hard and it did not go in at all. Then I realized that these little steam components have a little pattern for the arms. You can see right here that I figured it out. It took me a little bit, but this is what I was talking about. That the arm steam parts are the cutout of the arm shape. So one's designed for the left side and the other one's designed for the right side. And there we go. It fits into place pretty simple. There's one. You can see that it does not fit on this side. This is what I had it on beforehand. So I fixed it up and attached it on this side. So I'm going to put that back together by taking the hand and putting it back. And it clicked into place right away. And there we go. And there we have it. And there's one arm. See me pushing it in one more time to make sure it's on there nice and secure, which it is. Then I'm going to repeat the other side. Luckily, I still have them on together like this, so all I have to do is just line them up in the hole and press down. And there we have it. I'm going to rotate it on there, making sure it's on there nice and secure, which it is. Then I'm going to take the straw hat and his hair and attach it onto the minifigure itself. And it just slides in just like that. And then attach it properly centered. So I'm going to fix that real quick, and there we have it. And I'm going to attach it to the black display base to see how it looks, just with these two arms. And there we have it. Let's do a little 360 view of it. Here's the front, the sides, the back, and the other side. And there we have it. Now I'm going to change the facial expression to see how it looks. For me, I just rotated the hat and everything just came with it, or started rotating it with it. And there we have it. I'm going to position it, making sure it looks straight and properly displayed. And here we have it. I'm going to move the arms, make it look like he's actually fighting or about to fight. Now I'm going to put the minifigure off to the side to assemble this big fist. So I'm going to take this little fist and take the top part of it and assemble it like that. All you gotta do is line up the posts and holes and push down, and there we have it. It required a little bit of force, but it went in there pretty swiftly, or pretty smoothly, and there we have it. Look, let's give it a nice little fist bump, and there we go. Now let's take the little steam part for this fist and attach it. You can see that has two posts and two holes. All you gotta do is push down, and it goes in or pops into place. Pretty simple. And there we have it. Push down and voila. And there we have it. I'm going to push down a little bit harder, making sure it's on there nice and secure, which it is. And there we have it. Now let's go back to the minifigure, rip off one of the arms. It comes off pretty simple. There we go. Now let's attach the big fist. And there we have it. For me, I decided to display my minifigure like this. I feel like it gives Luffy a little bit of a character, like he's about to fight someone, or he's about to punch someone really, really hard. And here, this is how it looks like with the other facial expression on it. For me, I like the other one better. I feel like it captures Gear 2 Luffy a little bit better, and Gear 3. Now let's attach the hair and the hat to see how it looks, and here it is. Now let's take the black display base and display on the minifigure. For this minifigure with the big fist, you have to have it on the black display base, or it won't stand out. Without it, it will fall and it'll just fall. You won't be able to display it. So the display base is necessary, and by rotating it, you can rotate the big fist, but it will stop over here because the hat gets in the way. If you take it off, you can move it down and up like that. But here we go. Let's put the hat back on there, or the straw hat back on. And there we go. And here we have it, the full assembly of Luffy. Now let's bring one of his enemies, and with a big fist, let's punch him out of the way. And there we have it. And here we have it. Thank you guys for watching. And now let's bring all the minifigures that we opened throughout this video all together so we can see them all together in one big crew. As you can see that we're missing one character, one vital character of the crew. That will be Frankie, the shipwright. Unfortunately, I did not have his minifigure in stock, and I couldn't open it with this group, but he will be coming soon. I'll have a video of it opening shortly. But for now, here are all the minifigures we have opened. Here's Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Nami, and all the other components. Here's Sanji simping over Robin. We got Usopp, Robin, and Nami again with all their powers, which is really nice. Then we got Brook and Chopper. Here they are. And then we got Jinbe. And here are all the components, or all the minifigures we have open throughout the channel, all together as one big ship, or one big group. Thank you guys for watching.